aside from working with Keri Hilson, you also worked with Lil Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, how did that come about?
Again, one of those things in Atlanta, you know, where people are just hearing. But a friend of mine, her name's Stacey Barth. She's a fabulous songwriter. I mean, like, tremendous. She, when we were in New York, before I actually came to Atlanta, you know, we were just driving. I was driving my truck at the time. Oh my God, what a piece of shit truck that was. But we were driving, and I was just playing music. And Shoot Me Down came on. It was still a little rough. A lot of the music wasn't in there. And she was like, bitch, this shit is crazy. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm thinking more, I don't know who I was thinking it for, you know, but Lil Wayne was the last person on my mind. Stacey was like, please let me play this for him. Please let me play this for his team or whatever. And they heard it. I mean, it was maybe 2 weeks before they was literally about to put the album out. And so clearly it was the last song that made the record. But everyone on the team heard it except Wayne. But he trusts his team, and he was going by what they saw. So one morning at 3:30, I got a phone call saying, you know, Lil Wayne is at the studio right now. Could you go and meet him? And he wants to cut the record. And I was like, oh my God, you know. So we went there. He had a room full of people. It was maybe 15 people in the studio. I could barely see him. There was so much smoke in there. I was like, Wayne, no. I walked in. And the first thing he did, he just walked straight up to me and shook my hand and said, thank you. Even before he heard the record. He just knew. Hell, I knew after that point. You know, I was like, wow, okay, this could be really special. So he heard the record, and he was like, who produced it? I was like, I did. And he's like, who's singing the hook? I said, me. He stopped the record in front of everyone. He was like, this is monumental. This is monumental. He asked everyone to leave. I was like, sorry, guys. Everyone's looking at me, rolling their eyes. I was like, but he asked everyone to leave. So it was just me, the engineer, and him. And I witnessed him perform. But before we did that, what was his first single that came out on that album? Lollipop. No one's ever heard it because it hadn't come out yet. He performed it for me. He was standing on the speakers. He was jumping around. So I got a real live performance from Lil Wayne, that song. And I was like, wow, this is going to be really special. And so he started to perform the song, and he was like, so he stopped in the middle of the song. He was like, what's your name again? I'm sorry. I was like, D Smith. So that's why, like, in the second verse, he's like, nah, D, bring the drums back. And I was like, I cannot believe this nigga just shouted my name out in his song. So I still can't believe it. You know, I wasn't signed to him. He owed me nothing. I didn't owe him anything. And he was just such a sweet, genuine, very intelligent person. And that was definitely one of the biggest moments I've ever had in the industry. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's how they came about. And then the next day, I don't know how they did it, but my phone was ringing. I had told no one that I was in the studio with Wayne. Next morning, I was wakened by a lot of phone calls and emails and text messages just saying, congratulations. I'm like, what are they talking about? And there was like the Billboard article that Lil Wayne is on the cover of. It came out this morning. This is the next day. And he wrote a whole section about me. He hadn't done that with any of the producers on the album. Like, he went in about me. And, you know, he just was very, very nice, very generous. And I was very grateful for that. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, how did you feel about hearing about his seizures that he had recently? He had 2 seizures on his private jet. When was the last time you spoke to him?
Well, I haven't spoke to him that recently. I've been talking to his team though, but I had no idea about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing well now. Apparently, he's just hospitalized, but
Yeah.
he's doing well.
It might be the weed. It might be the weed. You know, it's not the weed our parents grew up with. This is some whole other shit. You know, people smoking roach spray and all kind of shit. So I don't know. I just not him. I'm saying people that sell the stuff. It's not like the stuff our parents grew up smoking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, talk about receiving 2 Grammys.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, Lil Wayne, his album had won a lot of accolade that year, and it went, it passed the million mark the first week, and it was very exciting. I had a lot of people calling me, prepping me, and getting ready. And what's crazy, I'm not even the type of person to do industry events and parties and award shows. I've never been to any of them, never. And I've never even been to a concert in my life, like an artist concert, never. So I'm pretty aloof and quiet, kind of, I keep to myself a lot. So I was really excited, but it really didn't hit me until everything really transpired, and watching everything on television and getting everything actually in my face, and actually reading about it and my publisher congratulating in me and my managers and my mom, that was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah.
So what were the 2 Grammys for?
For singing and writing on the album.
So is there any other artists besides Lil Wayne and Keri that you worked with?
Nope, that was about it. No, I'm joking. Well, yeah, I've worked with Wayne, obviously, and Keri. I've worked with Andre 3000. I've worked with Lloyd, Monica, Ciara, Estelle. I'm working with Fantasia right now on her new album. I'm working, I probably shouldn't say it because I wanted to be such a surprise, but I'm working with 2 Chainz right now. He's about 3 songs in. I'm working on some stuff for Wayne. Again, I've been talking to his team, and I mean, the music I got now is just incredible, and the Wayne is someone that I really care a lot about, and he and Andre 3000, I think they're remarkable artists. And I'm working with CeeLo right now on his album, and doing a lot of really, really groundbreaking things, and I love him to death. That's just one guy that will always have a place in my heart, always. And there's someone else, but I can't really remember right now.
So, like, did the offers start coming in after you won the Grammys? Like, did they just come in and...
No. I'm going to tell you why. Because I really didn't have a team like that. And like I said, I'm totally... I'm not really moved by all the hoopla and stuff. I stick to myself. I'm like, well, thank you, God, and I keep it moving. I don't really get caught into all that, so I didn't really seek who needs records. I mean, it was negligent on my part, but I don't regret it. People couldn't find me. They just simply couldn't find me. Like now, I meet presidents and vice presidents and heads of A&Rs, and they all go, gosh, I was really just trying to get to you, and then I would ask someone, and then they was trying to, get a piece of the pie, and I mean, like it was. I can only imagine, But I think at the time, Cash Money was very interested in signing me. I just didn't think that was the home for me, but that was about it, But everyone wanted to know who did the music, who did the song, who is D. Smith, and I didn't think. Hello, bitch, go get a PR or go back to the subway, do something, tell someone. Tell someone something. Don't just sit here in the house eating crab legs all day. But that was me. I was living that life. I was like, yes, this song is everywhere. And yeah. But you live and learn,
Yeah.
So.
So aside from that, now you're like widely known for appearing on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Tell me, how'd you get picked to be on this season's VH1 season, I should say?
Well, they wanted Betty on the show. She was kind of seeing someone in the past, and they wanted them to come on the show together. I think they thought they was probably still together or something like that, and she didn't want to do that. She was over that situation, and she told them about me. She's like, well, you know, my best friend is really cool, and she's a producer, and blah, 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 blah. And they were like, oh, you're talking about the girl that's on Instagram with you and whatever. And she was like, yeah. And she's like, you know, she's transgender. And they was like, yeah, absolutely. That's right up our alley and da-da-da-da. And I was totally not into it. And I gave them a really hard time about doing the show. And and it got to the point where Mona called. She was very interested. And, you know, we ended up meeting and having an interview with the whole team. And it was great vibes. It was fun. We laughed, and they learned a lot. And, you know, as far as me, you know, being trans and what it means and transitioning and it was really great meeting. And so it still took me another week to just think about it. Mm-hmm. And so when I decided to do it because I thought, you know, you have obviously a lot of talk openly about trans people, and talking is great, but seeing it happen is another situation. And I want to say, almost no matter what platform, you know, obviously Laverne Cox was on the cover of Time magazine, Jesus, you know, and as a trans person, I have to get out of my feelings and my pride and say, you know, any platform at this point is history. Any platform at this point is absolutely necessary. Just to be visible says a lot. It says enough, you know. So I thought, you know, and you know, a couple of my friends in the industry told me that they thought it was a good idea just because they know who I am. And the fact that there's no trans person that really has kind of dove in the urban market as far as mainstream wise, you know, commercially. You have Caitlyn Jenner that just stormed the whole scene on the the mainstream circuit, you know, from Vogue to the reality shows and the Kardashians and everything. There's a huge platform. But a lot of Black people still can't relate to Caitlyn, you know, to her life and what she goes through. So it was a very brave thing for me to do, to throw myself basically in the Shark Tank, you know, in the middle of it, you know, especially the Black community could be extremely. So, but I thought I have to do it. I have to make a statement, and I have to make a move.
You were scared to be like the first trans on like Love and Hip Hop or like urban reality TV?
I mean, obviously I was apprehensive. I don't want to say I was scared. I was just very concerned about how it will be translated. Me, you know, and my life, who I am, and what I want to do for the world, you know, and everything. You know, I always think about, gosh, everything I've been through and all the dues I've paid, and it's really in the hands of a couple producers at a production company under VH1, whom in fact don't know me, don't know anything about me, don't know anything about my music or anything that I've gone through. That's a gamble, that's a risk. So that frightened me a little bit, but you know, time is of the essence. People are watching and listening, and I have to be a part of it.
Look, I work with them on Mad. Mm-hmm. Good guys. Mm-hmm. Good heart. Good guys. Give you the shirt off their back. Is it ironic? Is it a coincidence that most of their friends are white and got white wives? They like white women? I mean...
And they develop envy because they go home They get out the car with their friend, with their other partner, and he listening to your music. They walk in the house, they girl listening to your music. They go downstairs, the kids doing a dance to your music. Now they are hypnotized with hatred.